Good morning, guys. Rick Shaw here on the 18th of May, 2023. And sorry I got so wound up on the bike yesterday, but that was the first ride I've ever had that, I've had rides before where something happened in the ride, but I never had a ride before where it just kept happening. It was like nonstop whack-a-mole. Really crazy. But that's just how it goes here. It seems like it's more so in this area than anywhere I've ever been. And somebody got on there and said, it's worse in Manila. I don't think it is. Also was talking to somebody yesterday, and they said that Philippines ranks second in drivers compared to India. They're supposed to be number one. Well, I was in India. I didn't think the drivers were as inconsiderate as here. It was, that's just my opinion though. But that's what they're claiming, this out of the whole world where everybody drives, Philippines is number 2. And it's a well-deserved, for sure. I always tease my wife. I say a lot of Filipinos, they get up in the morning and they try to figure out how they're going to get killed that day. It's just ridiculous the way they drive. And bullies, they're bullies when they drive. Most of these jeepney drivers, the jeepney's not theirs. They don't care if they get crunched, dented up and banged. It's a jeepney, and they'll just shove you out of the way. They're like a big Tonka truck. So it's a bummer. It's a real bummer. The truck drivers here do drive way too fast. Like Tim said about the where he's at. He's heading north from his place out of Puerto Princesa, I believe that is. And he was talking about the vans, and I'm with him. And then he sent me a thing where just in a period of a week, a bunch of people got killed because the van crashes. Talk about crashes. They just came and loaded these up the other day, but the guys who stacked them, they didn't stack them right. And you can see how that one pile's all tipped. So the thing fell down, and this is what you got. That's just from a fall. I could see them getting chipped, but this is what you get here. This is what you get in this country. All these are like that. Here's a new load that came in. This one just came in, and I'm not going to do it, but I could rip a big chunk off of that. I still haven't went up and got my black belt yet. Morning. But probably next time we go to the store, Mumu and I are going to be out tomorrow, and I'll probably pick up my black belt then. I'll be Karate Man, because how many people could smash a block like that? Hope you guys saw that on the vlog. It's amazing, and they're using them, and I'm sure my house is done that way. I see all the cracks all over the place, and that finish is just a little bit of a crack compared to what's probably underneath. It's just not good. Cracks go all the way through here from the outside to the in. And these places, they throw them up. They could care less. I would think that one of the workers would say, hey, or the foreman would say something to the builders, but everybody just keeps their trap shut here, and they just let it go. I let it go. That still was my favorite line in the movie, old Schwarzenegger. He turned into probably always wasn't born here, and he screw your rights, when I don't get these people, and I don't trust a lot of them, like you got Musk and all that. You got to look to it. You got to look at their history, what they've done and said in the past. I saw a biography on Musk from the time he was a real young man. They had an interview with his father. His father sounded okay, but you can't you can't put a foreigner in and have them understand the way America works with the Second Amendment, First Amendment, and all this. And even some Americans, they've been so dumbed down, they don't know. I watch these First Amendment audits and cop watches and all that stuff. And you can film in public. Now here it's a little bit different. You know, you do have to get permission here. Nobody says anything. Laws here, they enforce them if somebody complains. Nobody complains, they don't care. You know, it's like the drive-in yesterday. It's just crazy. But when we move, you know, we got a big trip coming up. But when we move, that's when I'm planning on getting a bike, something else, probably a big dirt bike. So it's a nice smooth ride, easy on the back. And, you know, I'll have something like that because I do love to ride. It's just, I'm not willing to take my life in my hands here. They don't care, like the fellow that, you know, instead of going out and around, if I'm going to pass somebody, I'm going to toot the horn, let them know I'm coming, and I'm going to be out as far as I can away from them. You don't know what somebody's going to do, but not these guys. They try to get as close as they can. It's like they're playing chicken. And that's, to me, that's just scary. Come on, guys. And it's just a shame. But it hasn't changed since I've been here. This area, when we were first coming, you know, to look at the ground and the development, okay, morning. It wasn't too bad. There wasn't that much traffic. There was one spot, a little bit of traffic. And I thought, okay, this will be cool. And it just progressively has been getting worse and worse. And that's a real shame. It's building up, though. You look in the back road. You know, they put that new road in. They got businesses, industry on these little narrow roads with speed bumps. One other thing, when I came here, I was all happy because there was no speed bump. And then one guy bitches and they throw him up a couple speed bumps. It's just insane. Nobody wants them here. And the guy says, oh, what about my little kid? I've never seen that kid playing out in the street. Never. Not one time. So what was his deal? And then when they did the speed bump vote, everybody who didn't want one wasn't called in for the vote. Just crazy. There's a nice open pit that you could fall into. This one's not too deep yet. Yeah, it's kind of a shame, but that's just how things are done here. I'm gonna say again, and I hope people that are planning on coming here, build your house yourself. Inspect everything. You don't have to physically do it yourself, but you need to be there on the job. That was my plan when we came here, but we got COVIDed. This is what happened. So we couldn't leave Cavite because the governor there, you know, Daddy Governor, he knows better than you do, and you weren't allowed to leave. And they had armed military all over the place. You couldn't move from one place to the other, and he really pushed it even harder. Even when other places was letting up, not him, boy. He got to take care of everyone. He's the big daddy, and I don't get that. And then you look at some of them down in Cebu with the old Governor Gwen. The opposite. She wasn't buying any of this crap. There actually are people here with common sense. Few and far between, but there are some. And that chick, the more I listen to her, I'm just like, yeah, she ought to run for president, I think. You know, none of my business here. I can't vote anyway, but you know, there would be somebody to look up to. You know, common sense and running her place very well. But they'll never let anyone like that in. I still don't believe any of these elections. They're selections. And WEF and all this stuff they're pulling, they're trying to go cashless now. Guys, you got to resist that. You have to resist the cashless. I see in the stores now in some places they're putting reverse ATMs. You put your money in, it gives you a ticket so you can go buy your goods at the register. Which, this is insane. They want to take the cash off so that they got control of you. And this, I think this is part. It's not mark of the beast, but it's part of it. Because they talk about you won't be able to buy and sell. Well, guess what? If they can control your money, you do something wrong. Look what they're doing in China with it. You know, you don't toe the line, You walk across the street, they deduct right from your account. You know, you don't toe their line, your social credit course goes down the toilet, and they're going to take your money. They're going to block your accounts off. And I had that done to me, and I had a tax problem. They shut everything off. They just shut everything off, and they do not care. They don't care if you eat or not. You know, even if you go to them and say, hey, you got to leave me something, they don't care. They don't care until it's resolved, and sometimes these things can take years to resolve. But if you look at the tax code in the U.S., and guys tell me, no, it's not true, it's not true. It's voluntary. It's a voluntary tax, but as soon as you sign it, that tax form, you've volunteered. And the other thing is, when you work for somebody, you know, now if you invest in a stock, let's say if you invested in Pud Light and you lost a lot of money, you can write it off, okay? But if you invest in, let's say, Yingling, and their stock just rose and you make $100,000, you have to pay taxes on that because it's like a gain. You didn't really work for it. But when you're working a job, you're not making a profit. There's no profit in that. You're working, you make an agreement with your boss, says, okay, I'm going to work for you for this much. He says, okay, I'm going to pay you that much, and you go to work. That's not a profit. You're not making a profit. You're given something, and you're getting the pay that you deem sufficient for that. So, you know, the way the tax, but a lot of people won't fight it. It's just like this traveling without a license, you know, travelers compared to drivers. And I've even seen some of these law guys say, no, that doesn't work. Well, people are doing it and winning. It's been won in the Supreme Court, but they never let the cases for tax evasion get that far. They'll settle just to try to keep it quiet. Because they know, you know, you go down to the lawyer. This is why I did this. I went down to the lawyer. I even went to the judge when I was in one of my first hearings. And I said, I'm going to let this guy go. And the judge says, why? And I need to retain different counsel. And the judge asked, why? And I'm glad he did, because I said, I told him to find me the law. And I said, Judge, Your Honor, maybe you can help me. Find me the law that says I have to pay this. They can't, because there isn't one. It's a voluntary tax. But like I say, as soon as you sign that tax form, you volunteer. But nobody will fight it, because the goons will pounce on you and take all your shit and throw you in a cage. You know, the way this government works in the States, it's just a goon squad now. You know, you're seeing this stuff with Durham. And I knew that was all bull crap and fake in the beginning. You know, it was too unreal. You know, the guy wasn't even taking pay. He was donating it. You know, he wasn't in there for the money. They couldn't buy him. So, you know, but I didn't buy it at all. Well, now they got this report out of all these people doing these rotten things. And our big foreign agent was Hillary. She was the Russian plant spy. Well, how come they're not calling them into court and trying them now? You can't. You can't do it. They're too well covered, and they've got too much goods on everybody else. You know, they've just got stuff. Epstein Island, all that was a thing so that they could get you doing something bad so they can blackmail you. That's all that was about. And some of the real rich people, they get sick in the head, guys. I mean, they do weird stuff. And, you know, with little kids and stuff like that, babies. And stuff's starting to come out. It says right in Revelation that these things will come out. You know, all will be known. And I think we're here. I think we're getting to this point. We got the internet and a lot of the signs of, you know, what it proclaims in the Bible. It's coming. It's passing us right now. So you gotta be careful. Don't forget to thank the good Lord for every breath. Pray for each other. That's one thing that the devil can't touch. If you pray, he wants to stop you from doing that. But if you pray and make it regular, put your nose in the book. And I just saw a report on that. some scientific study they did of people who read the Bible, and if they read it, if they don't read it, you know, their health is this certain way. If they read it once a week, about the same. But if they read it more than twice a week, they're actually better. And people who read daily are even more healthy. That was just a study somebody did. I think it was out of Sweden or somewhere. So it's a good idea. And like I say, thank the good Lord for every breath. Thank all you guys that are on the channel, even though they're blocking me and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and let you go. And this is Rick Shaw out.